In the heart of Uganda, there are children who have faced hardships that no any child should have to endure. Digital Discipleship connected with a 22-year-old Frank Ntambi when he was only 19 and moving from house to house with his 3 brothers, his young brother, Enoch, and his 2 cousins, Derek and Kevin. Derek and Kevin lived with their mother until her death. When they were sent to live with their abusive stepmother and father who had neglected them their whole life, Frankie's mother insisted that the boys should come along with her, and this is how they therefore became a family. Shortly after Frankie's mother brought the boys to live with her, Frankie's mother died. Their father had left several years prior, and the boys had no one left in their family to take care of them. They bounced from one unsafe place to the next. Frank was doing small jobs around the village to support his brothers, but that was not even close to enough. In 2021, Frank connected with Digital Discipleship through Facebook, and guess what? He reached out for prayers and began posting prayers and encouragement for others in the group. Even as he was suffering and struggling himself, individuals in Digital Discipleship began to develop a friendship with Frank and wanted to help the children go back to school, since it had been 2 years since they had any formal education. But before they could go back to school, they needed a safe and stable place to live. Listen to the story. One day, Miss Susan, a close friend to Frank's late mom, visited the boys in the village. She observed their situation and decided to take them to her home. Just a few months later, the boys received sponsorship and were taken back to school. Mercy Lord. A few months later, Frank returned to school too and began taking classes to become an electrician. But there were too many people in Susan's small home, and her family was pressurizing the boys to find a permanent home. Susan generously gave Frank the land to build a house, but since there was no funds for Frank, he wasn't working, and he had gone back to school, there was nothing to support in getting a permanent house to Frank. Pittman Park UMC in Statesboro, Georgia, agreed to provide funding for a forever home for Frank. And this changed the whole story of the boys. An orphan who once had nothing soon became a homeowner. These boys who had always shared a small twin bed now have space to live and play. The kids were not in school, but now they are studying and doing well in school. Enoch, aged 12, wants to become a doctor, and Kevin, aged 11, wants to become an engineer. Derek, aged 12, hopes to be a teacher one day. And guess what? Frank has just graduated from his school and is now a certified electronic engineer. Thank you to the generosity and love for Victory family. These siblings now have a bright future ahead of them. Join us in the work we are doing, Digital Discipleship, to support children like Frank and his sibling. Together, we can make a difference and show them they are victorious in Christ.